Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the all-new 2022 Land Rover Range Rover. Yes, the big bad boy SUV in the Land Rover lineup that they are fully changing for the 2022 model year. So in the first part of the video, let's go over what they're changing with the new Land Rover Range Rover, and then we're going to get into my thoughts on it, and then we'll just cap things off. And sorry about my hair today. I totally forgot to get product, so it's probably gonna look like I'm 12 years old throughout half the video. Sorry about that, but anyways, let's get into it. So let's talk about this all new 2022 Land Rover Range Rover. Now, the first thing I want to mention before I get into what has changed is the fact that they are still going to be selling the previous generation Land Rover Range Rover next to this new version as a 2022. So just because there is a 2022 Land Rover Range Rover on a dealer's lot doesn't necessarily mean it's a new version. They're going to be selling them side by side. I'm guessing they're doing this because of the supply chain issues and all that fun stuff we've been dealing with for quite some time. So just understand that is going to be reality. So you can still pick up the previous generation if you want that version. And some of you might want that because they're getting rid of some pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, they're selling them side by side. Now, aside from that, this is a fully redesigned vehicle. It's all new and they've done quite a bit to it. So first off, let's start with the exterior styling, because that's the first thing you see with any vehicle, right? And the front view of it looks very similar, a little bit more rounded off, similar to like what you have on the new Defender, where it's still, you know, Land Rover styling, but it's kind of more rounded. This is the same thing. As the front end looks very similar to the previous generation, but it looks a little bit more rounded, a little bit less square and boxy. Just kind of, again, everything that. On the side, they still have a lot of stylistic elements that are about the same, but it looks like that thing that the accent piece that's on the side normally looks a little bit different. It seems like it's smaller on this new version, which is kind of interesting. And then the back end looks crazy. Again, still has that kind of boxy design, but more rounded off. You notice the curves and everything a little bit more rounded off. The taillights, though, look interesting. I'm not sure how to feel about those, but I mean, I'll see it in person and decide that. Interior-wise, beautiful as always. I mean, Range Rovers are always amazing from an interior perspective. The quality that they have nowadays is just fantastic. Still has the tailgate that, you know, goes up and then down at the bottom, but yeah, that is all fantastic. Oh, and seeing it with a little bit darker coloration on the side, that looks really good. And I'll throw these photos up for you guys so you can see those as well. But yeah, it looks pretty much like so similar to the last version, just a little bit different. Looks like they don't have the dual screens anymore for the infotainment system. It looks like just one big screen there in the center, so it looks like that has also changed. Still get the camera mirror. Yeah, just one infotainment system screen, so they've gone away with the dual screen. There's still a separate thing for the climate zone, as you guys can see, but the infotainment system screen is a little bit bigger. You get like an actual shifter, not a dial shifter. A lot of people might like that. Still have all the luxury comforts in the back with the screens in the back, climate controls. Yeah, it looks like they've pretty much just taken the previous generation and kept a lot of the same features, and then the stuff that people were complaining about, they've pretty much changed that. But a lot of the stuff is the same. Still get the reclining seats and the higher up packages. Ooh, and some different colors, man. I'll put these in the video. This looks so good in some of these colors. Seats look about the same, really nice wood trim. So yeah, still a full-size Range Rover, so that is good. And I guess I kind of talked about the interior a little bit, but let's kind of go over more at the interior. So I already mentioned the infotainment system with the interior on this new version. And on top of that, it's still going to have a bunch of modern driving aid, all that fun stuff. And it's going to have some semi-autonomous systems that they're adding as well, so that's pretty good. The Meridian sound system has 35 speakers, pretty crazy. So sound system is going to be just on point. And yeah, like 13-inch infotainment system. So yeah, the screen is massive. It looked like that in the pictures, so that makes sense. And so yeah, you're pretty much getting modern safety tech, modern luxury comfort. So expect, you know, just like before, heated, cooled seats, massaging seats, all that normal stuff that comes with a Range Rover. It's not normal stuff, but with Range Rovers, right, it is normal. Now, this is the crazy part, powertrains. You're going to get a inline 6 for the base powertrain, 395 horsepower. That one's in 3-liter inline 6, if I remember properly. Same thing as what's in the Defender, so it has the 48-volt hybrid system with it. So 395 horsepower again, and then 406 pound-feet of torque. And you guys know I'm a fan of that powertrain. It's a solid powertrain, and for a vehicle this big, it's more than enough pep, especially me just driving it around town and all that fun stuff. Moving on from that, they are also going to offer a twin-turbo 4.4-liter V8, 523 horsepower. Sounds super similar to what we have with BMW, so I'm wondering if it's the same powertrain, because the Range Rover does use the 8-speed automatic from ZF, and so I'm wondering if they're kind of just, you know, borrowing powertrains at this point from BMW, because 3-liter inline 6, 4.4-liter V8. I mean, come on, guys, just putting that out there. But anyways, moving on from that, there also is going to be a plug-in hybrid available for 2023, 434 horsepower. And so how this is going to go is you're going to have the inline 6 as your base powertrain, which probably not a lot of people are going to get. You're going to have the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, which is going to be your high-performance powertrain, which is what most people will get. And then you'll have the plug-in hybrid, which is what, you know, probably like a pretty small minority of people will get, but it'll still be a really cool powertrain and have relatively good performance and all that fun stuff. And it says 62 miles of electric only driving, which is really good for a plug-in hybrid. Most are around the 20 to 30 mile range, so that is solid. But yeah, those are the changes. I know that some of you have been looking at this and you're like, it doesn't look like it's a huge change. It's just a bunch of little tweaks. But now let's get into my thoughts. Popping into my thoughts here with this new Land Rover Range Rover. First off, stylistically, it's very hard for me to comment without seeing a vehicle in person, because a lot of these new cars, especially with these renders that the manufacturers do, they just don't look all that good in photos. And then when you see it in person, especially when you see it next to the previous version, then you can see all of the attention to detail that's gone into the new version, and then you really like it. A good example is my new Raptor, for example. So when I saw the new Gen 3 Raptor come out, I was kind of iffy on it, because I was like, the Gen 2 looks so good, and the new Gen 3 looks kind of like a Gen 2 mixed with a Gen 1, and I wasn't sure if I liked it. And then when I got to see a Gen 3 next to a Gen 2, I was like, wow, the Gen 3 is a really good looking truck, has so much more road presence, absolutely love it. And I think this new Range Rover is going to be the same thing, where once I'm able to see it in person, I'll really be able to see the attention to detail. And like I said, the back end of me doesn't look that great with the new taillights, but again, when I see it in person, we'll see what happens with that. Moving on from that, the interior seems just as nice as it was before, so I don't have any complaints. I didn't really think they needed to update anything with the interior, if I'm being completely honest. Every single time I've reviewed one of the full-size Range Rovers, I don't have anything to critique it on, other than the fact that, yes, it's crazy expensive. There's not a lot of people that can afford that. But, I mean, you look at it, the attention to detail is amazing. All the touch points are amazing. There's tons of nice luxury features. The material use is just crazy good. And just the attention to detail, the stitching and everything is amazing. And so, like, there's nothing for me to critique it on. So they're basically just improving an already perfect vehicle in my mind. Again, other than the price, and I guess that's one thing I'll get into, is it'll still be very expensive, but it's still a lot cheaper than what you're getting with these other manufacturers. Like, a lot of people that are shopping for these are probably going to be cross-shopping this, and I know these aren't necessarily in the same category, but you know, they're kind of in the same category at the same time as, you know, Lamborghini Urus and Audi Q8 and, you know, Rolls-Royce Cullinan and all that kind of stuff. I know that sounds weird why people be cross-shopping those vehicles, but once you get into that really expensive luxury segment, people usually aren't buying these vehicles for the actual, like, utility use out of them. They're just buying them as, like, flex pieces, right? To show how successful they are, to show how much money they're making. You know, they still want a capable, comfortable vehicle, but, like, someone buying a Lamborghini Urus is probably not worried about how much cargo space it has and how many car seats it can fit and all that kind of stuff, right? They're probably worried about, how is this going to look when I pull up to my, you know, business, or when I pull up to the coffee shop, or wherever they, you know, want to drive. Same thing with this full-size Range Rover. And so I think that this is a really good alternative to a lot of those other expensive vehicles, as, like, you know, quote-unquote flex piece, because with those other vehicles, they're a lot more expensive and they're not necessarily that much nicer. You know, some of them have a little bit better performance, some of them might look a little bit cooler, but then you look at all the features you get with the full-size Range Rover, and it's pretty much a bargain, right? You get all these nice luxury features, this really solid brand name, and it looks fantastic. And so you're getting all of that, and it's significantly less expensive, especially like compared to a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. I mean, you look at that versus a Cullinan, and a Cullinan's 2 to 3 times the price, depending on packages and everything. And you know, the Cullinan's very nice, but it's not 2 to 3 times the vehicle, if you ask me. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I don't really have anything negative to say about it, other than sad that it's unaffordable. But you know what? Vehicles are like that nowadays. And so yeah, that's the full-size Range Rover. I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. And then obviously when I have a chance to review it for the main channel, then I'll have a review on that. If you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, and I'll see all of you in that next video.